It is always somebody else's fault, right?
No,
So
I'm not saying. I'm saying there's wrong on both sides, most definitely, but more on the side of Israel.
Since the massacres of October the 7th, Israel has been hard hit by more than 20,000 rockets and drones. People often ask me, what can I do to help? Well, I wholeheartedly recommend the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews.
With hundreds of homes ruined or destroyed, the fellowship is on the ground, bringing emergency food to the elderly in urgent need.
It's time that God-fearing people stand with our Jewish friends, have some hot food, and respond to God's calling on all our lives.
Yes, sir.
Hey, good afternoon. You got it? Hey, good afternoon. How are you? Yeah. I just wanted to get your opinion on the funding of AIPAC and the alleged buying out of the U.S. Congress, especially with everything going on overseas and the highly criticized and debated two-party state between Israel and the Palestinian people.
My opinion of AIPAC?
How would you curb or resolve the issue? Not just AIPAC. We have our own domestic issues, but they're coming in and earning $28 billion for their donation of $43.5 to the U.S. Congress. So our foreign, our proxies and our donations to Ukraine and the state of Israel.
So how would I curb that?
Yeah.
I mean, well, look, understand, AIPAC is constituted of Americans that are advocating for a foreign policy thing they care about. And it's a very dangerous road to be on. There are groups of Armenians that advocate for the recognition of the Armenian genocide. There are groups of American Indians that recognize for better relations with India. And it just so happens there are a lot of American Jews that argue for a very strong relationship with Israel. So can I better understand the question?
So how do you feel about America using Israel as a proxy? And the Apollo affair and Levant affair and the Gulf Wars and the invasion of Afghanistan and Iraq.
Okay, there's a lot there. So how do I think of Israel as an ally? Is that what you're asking?
As America using it as a proxy to keep a chokehold on the Middle East.
Well, I kind of reject the premise of that. I mean, I'm very pro-Israel. I don't think they're perfect. I think they do a lot that I wouldn't do and that I don't support. But I don't know. I would better argue that Israel is a complicated ally of the United States, but very necessary in the Middle East.
Yes. And why so?
For many reasons. For military technology sharing, for data sharing, for also they're a free society in an island of totalitarianism.
Yeah. So a Western power based on imperialism and imperialistic tendencies?
Well, not necessarily. No, I mean, they're their own sovereign country with their own elections, their own country, right? Do you think Israel has a right to exist?
I do, and I believe in a two-party solution, but I don't believe
two-state solution.
Two-state solution. But I don't believe in the genocide and displacement of 1.7 million Palestinian people. Because if you advocate for life, you advocate for all life around the world.
So let's make sure we get our terms right. Yeah. I don't want to spend too much time on this, but what is a genocide?
Mass killing of people.
Okay,
and a targeted mass killing of people.
Is that what Israel is doing?
Yes, most definitely.
How?
So you're telling me?
Hold on. Let's get back. Did Hamas then commit a genocide on October 7th?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let me get there. Yes.
Based on your so both sides are committing genocide.
But since 48, we have the partition plan of 1947. We have the transfer agreement in 1933. There's so much that built up to it. The Warsaw Ghetto
Uprising. Okay, so it's justified to go into nurseries and.
No, they didn't do that. Where's your evidence?
No, they did.
Okay.
No, hold on, time out.
If you want to go to crimes, then I can pull up a list of
Where's the evidence? I can show you GoPro footage.
I'll show you footage.
Hold on a second. GoPro footage of hours uninterrupted of Hamas terrorists wearing GoPros going into rock concerts and indiscriminately women, kidnapping them and bringing them back to Gaza. If you'd like to watch that footage, you can. But you said, so I need a clear answer, just make sure I'm clear. Yeah. A genocide is the targeted mass killing of people.
Yes, sir.
So Hamas is guilty of genocide.
Yeah, but correlating up. Do you believe in? This is off topic, but
no, I'm glad you said yes.
No, the Bill of Rights. Look.
So
the
therefore,
Second, Third, and Fourth Amendment. Do you believe in them?
Yes, the right to bear arms, the right not to have soldiers quartered, and the right to privacy.
Exactly.
We can keep going. The right to fifth.
So as
right
Israel has been violating those for nearly the course of 100 years, how would you feel? If you invite someone into your home and you let them stay as a guest when they were oppressed.
Well, hold on a sec. So, first of all, the Second Amendment is not applicable outside of the shores of the United States. So, not sure where you're going with that. But I want to make sure let me just have you answer this final question.
Yes.
If a foreign power commits genocide against you, as you admit
Yes.
Hamas did, how should Israel respond?
Okay. Yes.
No, but so
look, I'm saying.
how should Israel respond? Genocide
they're
was
allowed
committed
to
against.
defend themselves most definitely, but not to the extent they have done. It's killing 65,000 people
First of
for
all-
1,200 and bombing civilian areas. 70% of their casualties are women and children, and the average age of a child in Gaza is 18 years old.
So first of all,
So where are we drawing the line and the shade of gray between black and white? Who's right, who's wrong, we don't know.
who started it?
Israel, most definitely.
Hold on.
The Arab-Israeli war.
Hold on a second. Time
this
out.
has been going
on
for
October
50, 60
6th, the
yes.
day before, was there an act of war?
Yes, prior. Why do you think there's a group of resistance living there? When resistance happens.
Okay, no, I can. So I just want to make sure I understand the argument that this has been a bubbling up conflict since
Most
the
definitely.
1950s.
It has been prior to the 50s.
Let me answer your question. Israel
Yes.
got out of Gaza in the
Yes.
early 2000s.
Yes.
Gave it to Hamas.
But if they're still
Hold on.
ruling over.
Why were they not able to create a nice place in Gaza?
Because Israel is holding their materials and their right. It is illegal.
So do you
for
do you
them-
see a
listen,
through
listen.
line here, guys?
Hang on,
And it's
hang on,
important
hang on.
though.
Will you let me
It's
ask
always
something?
somebody else's
Don't
fault.
speak over me, please. Will you let me ask
Well, it
something?
actually is my deal, but that's
Okay,
fine. So
okay.
it is always somebody else's fault, right?
No,
so
I'm not saying. I'm saying there's wrong on both sides, most definitely, but more on the side of Israel. It's unsanctioned and unreasoned to go and kill that many people for no reason.
give me the equation. I want to make sure I
Okay, you
understand.
believe in an eye for an eye, right?
Generally, but I just
Okay.
want to know the equation though.
So this is politics. They can negotiate. We can release prisoners. We can
Which
embargo
they
them.
are.
Okay, yeah, as going on.
And you
with the
admit
ceasefire.
Hamas uses civilians as human shields.
Absolutely not. I believe Israel does, and I have video footage of it.
It's difficult to debate if you're just on a completely different fact pattern. So let me just.
I will give you readings and
Al-
videos.
allow-
I see videos every day. I have family there. I see them literally
Yes,
get torn and ripped to shreds by Israeli missiles and them killing kids and animals in the street and fun and laughing. And they post their own
none
war
of the
crimes.
none of those missiles
They
were
document
being
their,
launched
okay, regardless of
prior
missiles,
to October 7th.
A soldier, me versus you. If you're walking in the street with your family and I shoot you and post it on TikTok and laugh, is that not a war crime?
That's what Hamas did.
No,
against
that's
the
what
IDF.
Israel is doing.
I will not defend everything that every soldier has done, but I want to have one final question, which I think is important. If Israel laid down all of their weapons and
Yes.
said our military is no more, what would happen?
At this point in time, I don't believe they would come to a two-state solution after everything that's gone on.
No, that wasn't the question.
prior
if,
to-
if Israel disbanded its military,
Yes.
what would happen?
The Palestinians would take over, but they would
Oh,
let the Jews.
okay.
Listen. Not forcefully. This is how they operate. This is how Muslims operate Islamically. They let them live under them in jizya. They tax them and they let them live, and they take that tax and give it back to them. How do you think the Ottoman Empire worked and lasted 600 years? How do you think the Golden Age of Islam lasted and it lasted for 300 years? Because this is history.
So no, I just want to make sure I understand. So they would just take over mostly peacefully.
No, most definitely peacefully, because that's what.
Can
their
you show
basis
me an
is.
example of Jews living peacefully under Islamic rule?
Most definitely.
Where?
When the Hamas had Israeli captives. Have you seen the
The
prisoners
Israeli
thing?
captives
Yes.
they killed?
They're not killed.
There was a 9-month-old baby that just got returned home as
They're
a
not
corpse
killed.
by Hamas.
They're
No, but
not
I am
killed.
interested by what you're saying. So
Yeah.
it's again, this is why it's important on this topic to stay on the moral domain, because all of your numbers are wrong. 65,000 kids have not died, and it's
I didn't
just
say 65,000 kids. I said 65,000 Palestinians, and 1.7 million have been displaced, creating one of the largest refugee
none of that is correct, and that's okay.
Okay.
It's fraction. I don't believe in the numbers. However, the point is this: if Israel laid down its weapons,
Yes.
they would be eliminated.
No, they would not.
You just admitted they would take over Israel.
Now, when
If,
I say take
if
over, did I say
Hamas
kill
laid
you?
down their weapons, we would
Yes.
have peace.
Most definitely not.
Because
the
we-
Israelis would keep doing what they have been doing. They have the right to resistance. They have a ceasefire currently, but prior to that, when anyone else in the world,
The emotions of this topic are very high.
Yeah.
Obviously, my allegiance is first and foremost to America.
Yeah.
I'm interested in it just from a moral standpoint, though,
Yes.
which is why is it? Help me understand. There are well over 40 Muslim-majority countries in the
Yes.
world, over 1 billion Muslims. Israel is the size of New Jersey, and it has half the world's Jewry, about 7 million people.
Yep.
Why why can't you just let Israel exist and leave it alone? Why the focus? Why the intensity? Why the anger?
There's no anger.
There's no anger?
Not from me. I'm talking about maybe
This guy
other
is
people.
biased.
I don't hate anyone. I'm not displeased with anyone, but I don't believe in the unnecessary killing of people. That's not how we were raised.
I agree.
That's
that,
an American value and a conservative value.
I agree. That's
So-
why I think October 7th was the beginning of
Yes.
the unraveling of a lot of decency and conflicts.
But what do you think about all that spilling over prior? It's the same with the American Revolution.
I
they
reject the
were
premise.
praised for. You reject the premise?
I reject
Okay.
I mean, to
So-
say that they had no choice but to go and kill a bunch of babies. Let me actually challenge the point. If you were correct,
Yes.
and Hamas was trying to resist,
Yes.
why didn't they go attack military targets and instead they attacked civilian targets?
Good question.
That's what
I'm not a
terrorists
military
do, right?
operator. No? I don't know.
So if it was really like, hey, they wanted to resist, they should have went after IDF outposts and picked a fight with somebody their own size. They went after little kids in nurseries, in kibbutzes. And I think you
But
have a
did they
moral right.
not-
Hold on. You're
Okay,
very
go ahead.
well read on this topic. You have
Yes.
family there. I think you have a moral obligation to watch the GoPro videos. They're public.
I've seen. I will show you footage
Hold on,
every day
no.
coming out of Gaza.
I've seen what
I
you've
will
seen.
show you everything.
But you
no,
equally
I don't
no, I'm
believe
talking.
You've seen
Wait,
what I've seen because then you wouldn't talk this way.
no, I've seen what you've seen.
Okay.
But I want you to look at the guys that for 3 hours straight were watching GoPro videos, laughing, putting babies in.
Okay, show it to me or send me the
Yeah,
link.
no, I'm
I'll take
happy
it.
to.
Give me- yeah,
And
give
the
me
fact
some.
you don't even know it exists is very telling, because that's why Israel has become so aggressive in return. And understand the background.
Yes.
Is that the Jewish people have still not repopulated themselves to the pre-Nazi Holocaust levels.
How many people do you think died in the Holocaust?
How many people do you think died
I
in the
don't know.
Holocaust?
That's why I'm asking. I get so many different options.
7 to
if
8
you're-
million is
they
usually
say
the number?
7 to 8 million. I've seen 6. I've seen 2. I've seen 3.
Okay, so what number do
So,
you believe? And why does it matter?
Did I live back then? That's in 1940, 1930s and 40s. What
Does
do you-
it matter?
No, I mean, regardless, it's a massive killing of them. But I
Was
don't
the
know how many
Holocaust
have
real?
died. How? Yeah, of course the Holocaust
Okay,
was
good.
real.
Then it shouldn't
But
matter.
how can you say they haven't repopulated to those times? How do you know?
Well,
Is there
again-
a record of the death?
Well, yeah, there is a record
Okay.
of the death, and so we know how many Jews that there were in the country and in Europe, and they have not yet been able to repopulate to those same equivalent numbers
Okay.
coming back. So I think we don't agree on anything, and that's okay. I would love to see an end to the killing. However, there needs to be three. Let me ask you my 3-part question, okay? Do you believe anti-Semitism is real, wrong, and evil?
I believe it is wrong, and I believe it exists, and I believe it's evil.
Okay,
yes.
good.
But
And
what-
Israel has
what
right to exist?
defines-
Oh, it's a super easy
well,
3-point question.
Let me pause right there and ask you.
It's not
what
that
defines a
complicated.
Semite?
A
And
Semite?
when did the term come about?
Well, a Semite
Yes.
comes from somebody from the Samaritan region,
Yes.
right?
Semitic peoples, which consist
Right.
of.
I could have finished the, answer. But yes, from the Samaritan region,
Yes.
that is a term that has largely been popularized in the last 1500. So let me be more specific. Anti-Jewish hatred.
There you go.
Is that fair?
Yes, that's
That's
more
evil,
reasonable.
wrong.
Yes.
Okay. Israel has a right to exist.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Good. And that since we posit that Israel has a right to exist, that we need to come up with some solution where all people can live
A
peacefully in the
two-state
region.
solution.
Okay. Or a 1-state solution, or a 3-state solution,
Well,
right?
okay, then why can't they? If it's a one-state solution, why can't they live under the Palestinians peacefully, like they did previously?
I don't
they can
speak
live
on behalf
among
of
them.
Israel, but if a group of people go and murder 1,200 of your own people for no reason, I don't think I'm going to give them the keys to Jerusalem. Okay.
That's fine.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
That's true. I just love Charlie. I love where he's coming from because, you can't just come to my place, you have issue with me, and you decide to take that anger on like citizen. And when I watched that genocide, I was like, wow, these people, they are heartless. You waited for their day of celebration, then you came, you killed as many as possible and ran away. Why don't you go for the people that are causing you harm if you feel the government are the one causing you harm, or the soldiers, the military? You would have looked for a way to, get back at them, not civilians. I think that was what broke the comeback, because the comeback was something that they did not expect. Now they are shouting, oh, why would you do this? Why would you do this? When I watched the video of how they came into, Israel and killed so many people, I was like, nah, this is really, really unfair. So I based on what Charlie is saying, he said if Palestine can lay down their weapon, Israel is ready to cease fire, and they've been doing it for long. If you decide to, and I think what this guy is saying, he wants Israel to be under, the Palestine, be under their rule and stuff like that. And I feel it will not work. Because if Israel should lay down their weapon today or decide to stop their military or maybe like make their country in a way that there will be no military, the Palestinians will attack them. And if they attack them, they will seize everything they have. They will make sure they stay under their rule. But if the Palestinians do the same thing, lay down their weapon, I think Israel will not even have the time to attack them. They will not mind. They will not want to make them be under their authority. They'll just, move on with their life. And I think I want peace to reign. I want these two countries to live in peace because the war have been existing for quite some time now. And I wish they can both just, forget about the war, live in peace, because no matter who you serve or your religion, we are human first before religion. So let's be human and let's go of the weapon and focus on developing ourselves, building ourselves. This world forever is a very short time. You see, most people live up to 30, 20, 50, 100. You can predict it. My mom died at the age of 56, and I wanted her to live long, but that is it. You can't detect for people. So don't take their life or don't cut their life short simply because you have the weapon, you have what it takes. You don't just do that. Give everyone the opportunity to enjoy this life and live when it's time for them to live. And I'm not only talking about Israel and Palestine, I'm talking about the entire world. It's high time we stop fighting or believing that going to war will bring peace because you want to be the world power, you want to dominate. No. Let's cease fire and look at ourselves as human first before power. Anyway, there's a beautiful one coming from Charlie. I enjoyed this and I want to see more videos like this. If you have any recommendation, let me know in the comment section. If it's your first time visiting the channel, click on the subscribe button. Thanks for watching and remain blessed.